Is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea? Then, the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Weird News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Colleen, and let's just get into some weird stuff. So I was perusing the internet, as I do often, and I found a bunch of really strange and just weird things that you can buy on the internet. And I thought I would kind of just share these with you because they are really, a lot of them are really strange, some of them not so much, but let's just start. So the first thing that I found, well, the first place that I found is a place called Skulls Unlimited, where you can buy human skulls and actually all kinds of weird dead things. Now, I wanted to put this right at the beginning because it's actually not the weirdest thing. I went to a oddities expo. I went to an oddities expo about a year ago now, and they had all sorts of stuff like that there. It was a lot of bones, it was a lot of animal stuff, there were a few human bone type items that came around as well when I was there with my friend. And I actually bought a bat. It's not alive. He's dead and preserved and adorable. And his name is Boris, and he is the best. And he is proudly displayed on my mantle. But anyway, I thought I would still share that because that is kind of strange to some people. I don't think it's that strange because I've seen these things before, like firsthand, so it's not as strange to me. But let's just move on to another website that I found that you could buy some real weird things. Now, this place is Mortar, M-O-R-T-A-R, Investments. This is a company that's based out of Prague that allows you to buy almost any vehicle that comes with treads and a gun. So basically like tanks and stuff. This is one of the weirdest things. Not about it, but it is out there and I thought I'd share it with you guys. Let's move on to something a little lighter than tanks and guns and skulls. And let's move to TaskRabbit. Now, on TaskRabbit, you can actually hire somebody to stand in line for you. Now, I thought this was weird, but I've seen stuff about this before, and it's actually a really popular thing. So for things like when a new iPhone comes out or something like that, I'm using iPhone as a thing because people will stand for like days in line, which is really nuts, and just like hours and hours in lines for something like this. And you can actually hire somebody to go stand in line for you during that like time for, God knows how long that you're there. And you can kind of just show up when it's closer time to go inside or whatnot. And then you just pay them. You're like, okay, now I'm going to go in and spend a buttload of more money on whatever I've waited or had somebody wait this long in line for. I don't know. I personally would never use this, just personally, because I'm just, if I'm going to stand in line for something, I'm going to do the work to do it. And I don't know if I've actually stood in line for something that was that long. You know what? I did. I once did a Black Friday shopping with my sister. I never really went Black Friday shopping because it's terrifying to me, and that's just way too many people for me to be around. Let me tell you, just too many people. And she really wanted to go to Target, so we went to Target together. And we stood outside in a line that wrapped around the building for like so long. We had gone thinking that it wasn't going to be like this. Like it wasn't going to be this huge line that was going to be forever. We came around the time they were supposed to open, and we thought it was just going to be, you know, they open and then people go in and we'd be there maybe just in time to get it while the line was going in. We were wrong. They ended up opening later than we thought. And actually, we were standing in line forever in the cold, and we went inside, and it was a madhouse. I mean, we got some good deals, don't get me wrong, but it was a madhouse to get inside. Just, there was somebody in line that was telling us about how they do this every year, and not just with Target, but with other places. And then, when we got inside, it was just people everywhere, and there was so much stuff that felt like it was already gone because people were just on this mission, and they knew exactly where they needed to go and exactly what they were going to get, and it was just crazy. But it was the lines on the way out that were insane. These lines wrapped around the store, like inside of the store, basically just to check out. So I did stand in line for a while with that, but I would not pay somebody to stand in line for me. I just think that's kind of over the top. But I mean, if that's what you're into, there's a place for it. It's TaskRabbit. So let's move on to something that I found absolutely hilarious. So, as most of you probably know at this point, you can send glitter to anybody you want. You can send a box of glitter, to pretty much anybody. I think their slogan is like send glitter to your enemies or something. Glitter bombs and all sorts of stuff like that. But there is a place called Poop Senders. Yes, you heard me right. This place is called Poop Senders. And they will anonymously send a package to anybody of your choosing full of poop. Now, on this website, when you go to the frequently asked questions section, there's a question about where this poop comes from, you know, because obviously that's something you want to know. It's not human. That's disgusting. It's not. But in the frequently asked questions section, it says, like, the answer to this question says that, in quotations, the mad scientist visits the local dairy farms and zoo about twice a week. So basically they get the species from their local dairy farm and zoo. I don't know if they've got some sort of like deal with them or whatnot, or if they're just kind of going and doing it. It doesn't really say much. I don't know who the mad scientist is that is doing this. But that's where they get it from. It's from the local dairy farms and the zoo, and I think that's hilarious. And he goes twice a week. Like, man, this guy is committed. This guy is committed to bringing you some feces to send to your whoever. This one doesn't say to send to your enemies, but I assume it's around the same line of, like, you can send feces to your enemies or what have you. But that's a thing that happens. The thing that also cracked me up about this is that you can also buy bulk orders. So not just your regular order, you can also buy in bulk. I don't know. I would never do this. I just think this is ridiculous on so many levels. Glitter in itself is absolutely, it's so much. It's the herpes of the craft world, let me tell you. Glitter in itself is a lot when it comes to, like, sending a glitter bomb. I would never do that either because that's just terrible, especially if you've got carpets. I mean, it'll get everywhere whether you have carpets or not, but I wouldn't do that, and I definitely would not participate in poop sending. It's just not for me. I don't know. But this is a thing that you can buy on the internet. You can go to poopsenders.com and anonymously send animal poop to whoever you feel needs some. Now, before we just keep going on about sending animal poop to people, let's take a quick break, and when I come back, let's talk about some more weird things you can buy on the internet.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts. Past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast. Now, before the break, we were talking about weird things and like strange things that you can buy on the internet. Now, we talked about Skulls Unlimited, Mortar Investments, TaskRabbit, and Poop Senders. Now, let's move on to demonical.com. Now, this is real strange, let me tell you. So demonical.com is like eBay, but for souls. So basically, you can buy and sell souls or bid on people's souls. Now, this is for famous and non-famous people. This is ridiculous. Apparently, Bill Gates' soul was up for grabs with a top bid of $869 or an outright price of $1,300. I don't know. This one just kind of cracked me up that people are on this, like trying to buy people's souls. I don't know how that works. I'm not sure how you're getting your money's worth in this. Just saying. But that's the thing. Demonical.com is an actual place. An actual place where you can buy and sell souls, or bid on souls. I don't know. Let's move on to something a little lighter. So this is something that you can get on Amazon for $12.99. So for $12.99, you can get your very own pet rock. But not just a pet rock. You can get your very own albino pet rock. Now, this albino pet rock comes in a box like you would get if you went to a pet store and you got like a hamster or a gerbil or something like that. They come in the box with the holes in it. It comes in one of those boxes, but this also comes with a nest for your pet rock. Not only a nest, it comes with a leash, so you can take your pet rock, your albino pet rock, on a walk, and a guidebook on how to care for your albino pet rock. I've seen pet rocks sold on the internet for a while now, but this one just caught my eye because it's an albino pet rock, and it comes with so many things besides just a rock. And it's only $12.99. So for $13, you can get this. I don't know. I think this is funny. It would be kind of like a fun gag gift, I really think. I don't know. It's kind of funny. But let's move on to something that's also on Amazon that cracks me up. And this one you can get for $8.99. So for $8.99 plus shipping, you can send somebody a potato with a custom message on it. So you can send anybody you would like a potato with a custom message on it that is supposedly written in premium black gel ink. Now, I don't know about this, you guys. This is just so funny to me. This cracks me up beyond belief that you can just send a potato with a message on it. Now, I don't know if that's worth $8.99 plus shipping to send a potato with a message on it, but if you really want to send someone a messaged potato, then Amazon has it for you and you can do it, and they will write it in that premium black gel ink. I don't know. This could be a fun gag gift if you're looking for something. Now, let's move on to something else that you can buy on Amazon. That's our little theme, I guess. And this is gloves that can help you clean your countertops in your car and stuff like that. Now, this is cool. Don't get me wrong, but this is weird in the way that they advertise it. So these are gloves that help you clean your countertops and your dog with just a bit of water. I don't know. This is ridiculous to me. It's, I guess, just kind of like a washcloth because you add a little bit of water. Maybe it's kind of like microfiber-ish. I don't know. But they advertise it as being able to clean your countertops and your dog. Now, okay, first off, I'm not going to clean my countertops with the same thing that I'm going to wash my dog with. Just saying. No matter if I clean it or whatnot, that's still kind of gross. Just from like a sanitary standpoint, I would not use that for this and that. Like maybe you would buy this just to clean your countertops or just for around the house stuff or just for your car or just for your dog. Now, it's a glove. So that can be handy. Now, this kind of thought made me think about something that I have actually. Now, this was one of those as seen on TV products, and I think I found it at like Walmart or something like that in one of those sections that's like for as seen on TV products. And I have a glove that you pet your animal with and it brushes them and takes the hair off. Now, I bought this on a whim, thinking that, I don't know if this would help, and my husband was like, we should get it and try it. And actually, I recommend it to everybody. If you see one of these things, it's like a glove to brush your dog with. This works so well. This also works for my cats as well. So whether it's a cat or a dog, this will work. And it's gentle enough and they feel like you're petting them. So it's not so like, don't touch me with that, it's a brush, I don't know what it is, kind of thing, where it's more of just like you're giving them pets and they love it. And it really does take a lot of that excess hair off and it does brush them very nicely. So if you see one of these, I 100% recommend it. It was one of those weird buys that I was like not sure about whether I should do this or not. I was like, is this a good idea? Is this a waste of my money? Turned out to be not a waste of my money. I think it was like between $15 and $20, but it was worth it. Honestly, in the end, this glove ended up being 100% worth it. But am I going to use it to brush my own hair or something like that? Absolutely not. That's kind of what I'm saying with this product, is that I'm not going to use this to clean my countertops and my dog at the same time. That's the kind of thing I'm saying here, is like it might be a really good product. I've never tried it, but I'm not going to use it for the thing, like everything that it's telling me to use it for, just for like sanitary reasons. I don't know. That one's really weird to me. I'm going to say one more before we take a break, and let's talk about this one. Now, this one kind of goes along the line of the first one that I talked about in the beginning of this podcast. I had talked about the site where you could buy like a human skull, or they had other, bones and stuff like that. This is a snake vertebrae bracelet. Now, this thing looks so cool, let me tell you. And I don't think it's the weirdest thing that I've seen. It's just something that I've never seen before. I've seen a lot of weird stuff, as we talked about in the beginning. I've seen a lot of weird stuff. I have some weird stuff, but I saw this snake vertebrae bracelet and I thought that I would talk about it just because it's cool. Like it's weird and it's cool. And I don't know if I would buy it personally, but it's out there. That's the thing. I don't know about it because I just don't know where it's coming from. This one I couldn't really find a website for. I just found that you could buy this, and I'm I'm kind of weary if I'm going to go buy something that's going to be dead, something that because I want to make sure that it's been treated properly. I don't want to get something that's not been treated properly. That's pretty much it. Now let's take a quick break, and when I come back, let's talk about some more really weird things that you could buy on the internet.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast. Now, before the break, we were talking about weird things that you can buy on the internet. Now, we were talking about demonical.com, some albino pet rocks, and also we talked about a message potato that you could send to people. Now, let's talk about some haunted things that you can buy on the internet. Now, I've seen this, and this is actually a really popular thing that people do, especially on eBay, that I see is that you can buy haunted items on eBay. And apparently it's very popular and people do it. And I mean, if you've been on YouTube before, I know that some places have done like, I bought this haunted item to see if it's haunted on eBay or this and that. And so it's become a fairly popular thing for people to do. Now, I went and looked up some haunted things that you could buy on eBay, and let's talk about a few of those things. So, the first one that I thought was really strange is you can buy a haunted rubber duck on eBay. Okay, cool. I don't know. You could buy so many different haunted dolls on eBay or bones that are haunted, I guess. You can also buy haunted like items mystery boxes. So you can buy like a mystery box that's full of haunted items. Basically, you're buying a box that you don't know what's in it, but everything in it is haunted. I don't know if that sounds like the best thing to do, but you can do it. You can buy all sorts of haunted jewelry. You can also buy haunted like wood effigies and stuff like that. Haunted coins, haunted stuffed animals. You can also buy a haunted whiskey bottle. Don't know if I would like that. Different haunted masks. And also a haunted casino chip. Now, I don't know if you're a believer of the paranormal or whatnot, but I'm not sure where I stand on this. I'm in a limbo state when it comes to this, and I don't think I would buy any of these just for my general safety. Also, just the mystery box makes me feel really uncomfortable. Like I'm sending somebody a bunch of money to send me a bunch of random stuff that they say is haunted and could just be a bunch of garbage. I don't know. Not for me. But I want to know what you guys think about like haunted items. Are you guys into the paranormal or anything like that? Hit me up on the Twitter, like always, at GSMC_Weird News. Also on the Facebook, GSMC Weird News. I'm always on there to talk to you guys, so let me know if you guys believe in haunted things or just the paranormal, and if you guys would or have ever buy or bought a haunted item from eBay or any other website. Now, like I said, I don't think I'd do this just for the possibility of my own safety. My dog woke up this morning at like an ungodly time, like still super dark outside. My alarm has not gone off and has a few hours before it needs to. And she is like in a panic and I don't know why. So me and my husband are like trying to calm her down. She's like looking everywhere, like freaking out. She ended up just cuddling up to us and chilling out and she was fine. But me and him were joking today about this, and this made me think about these haunted items. We were like, yep, it's the ghosts. It's the ghosts. She's, she's here for the ghosts. See, I joke about that all the time because everybody who lived in my house before I did actually died in this house. Now, I say this, I tell people this all the time because I don't have an issue with it because they all died of old age, like natural things in old age. So I don't feel like, I don't feel uncomfortable. No one was murdered in my house. No one was, that kind of thing. So I tell people that all the time. I'm like, ooh, everybody who lived here before me died here. And then they freak out. And I'm like, you know what? It's fine. We're fine. What are they going to do? Put a coaster under it and then flying coasters come from nowhere. Like, it's fine. I thought I'd share that with you guys along with this haunted items thing. Let's move on to another item that I found that you could buy on the interwebs. Now, this I thought was disgusting. Now, I also don't think that this person can actually back up the claims of what they're selling. So this person is selling serial killer fingernails. Now, this is of a specific serial killer. I'm not going to name names just because it's weird in general that they're selling this, and I don't want you to go look this up and then try and buy it just to, I don't know. It's just kind of gross. So this person is selling the specific serial killer's fingernails. They sell each fingernail for $10. And I don't know, this is just so ridiculous to me. This is disgusting. And they say that it's, from this specific serial killer and all this stuff, but I really don't think that they can back this up one bit. I really don't think that this is something that these people can back up at all. It's absolutely disgusting. Never buy fingernails from anybody at all, please. This is one of those things along with a lot of things that people sell. Now, people are really into selling things that celebrities or people who've been in the news or this and that, and serial killers are a big thing in this too. They like to sell things that they've touched or been near or were on their person at one time, and just take everything that you see like that with a grain of salt. And don't buy somebody's trash or something, because a lot of people sell celebrities like garbage, and that's disgusting, or like tissues or stuff like that. Even things that are signed by celebrities you kind of have to be wary about, because there's a high probability that it's not, and it's just forged or this and that, unless it's got some sort of certificate to back it up, or or you get it signed yourself, or somebody who did, or there's a photo of them signing it, or there's something along that lines. And it all kind of falls under the same category as these fingernails. And I really just think you shouldn't just buy things because this specific person might have touched it, or this specific person, this or that. Don't buy or bid on celebrity souls. That's a bad idea too, as we talked about earlier on demonical.com. But I really think these all fall in the line of you're kind of idolizing people and you want to be somewhat closer to these people, so you try and buy things that, are close to these people or have possibly been close to these people. And just don't do that. I mean, if you want something that's signed by a person, either you can get it signed by a person, or a lot of times these people, especially if it's like music artists or sometimes celebrities, they have websites where they sell things that they do sign or stuff like that. Go off of something that's a reputable source, and don't go on eBay. Don't go on eBay or anywhere that's like, oh, I've got a t-shirt that Tom Cruise wore at one point in his life. Like, just stay away from things like that. It's just be mindful that you're just giving money to people that probably just found a shirt, roughed it up a bit, and then sold it as somebody's t-shirt. Like, just don't do it. Before I keep going on a rant about what you shouldn't buy, let's take a quick break. And when I come back, we're going to talk about some more weird things that you can actually buy on the internet.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC, Invicta FC, Bellator, and One Championship. We got the fights covered. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts. Past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast. Now, before the break, we were talking about all sorts of weird things that you can actually buy on the internet. Now, let's move on to a website that I found that's actually kind of a really good website for gag gifts. So this website is called offthewagонshop.com. Now, this has a plethora of real weird gag gifts. So this has stuff like an inflatable beard of bees, a public toilet survival kit, tattoo pays for bald guys, so like temporary tattoos that are toupees, an instant Irish accent gum, and a plethora of bacon flavored things. You've got bacon floss, you've got bacon gum and bacon mints and all bacon toothpaste, all sorts of stuff like that. They have it there. They also have Ginsburg judgments. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Just because I don't know, it was kind of funny. And then this one cracked me up only because of the name. They have Lord Fartwell's whoopee cushion, and that's Fartwell with a PH. I don't know. Weird names and stuff like that just makes me laugh. But I don't know. This place kind of seems like the best place to go if you're looking for some kind of gag gift online. So once again, that's offthewagонshop.com. Just full of weird gag gifts that you could get for somebody else. Now let's move back to Amazon, where I found some more real strange things that you can buy. So this one caught my eye because you'll see. Okay, so this is a taxidermied squirrel in a tiny canoe with a little paddle. Like he's rowing the canoe, like he's in the canoe going away. This is on Amazon for $249.99. So for just $250, you can get a taxidermied squirrel in a tiny canoe. I love weird stuff like this, so this caught my eye and just made me laugh. I don't know. Love a good weird taxidermied item. Now, besides a weird taxidermy item, what you can also get on Amazon is shrunken heads that are made in the Amazon rainforest that you can get on Amazon for $29.98. So not quite $30. You can get yourself a Amazon rainforest made shrunken head. Now, when I was looking at this, you can't tell if it's like an actual shrunken head or not, or what they're, what they're doing, what they're selling. But, that's a thing you can get. So let's move on over from Amazon and into eBay. Now, I saw this and I just, what? That's what I said. So I saw this and it's just a picture of a carrot. Now, this is not just any carrot. This is a voodoo carrot. This is apparently a very popular item, and this is a voodoo carrot that has magical properties. Now, the seller of this voodoo carrot urges those without a actual knowledge of real magic to stay away, because this carrot is not for you if you do not have an actual knowledge of real magic. Now, they say that when this is in the right hands, when this voodoo carrot is in the right hands, it can change the weather. Now, you can get this on eBay, this magical voodoo carrot, but only if you have knowledge of real magic. If you don't, I'd stay away from the voodoo carrot. But you can get this on eBay for £85. I thought this was ridiculous. I mean, I don't have knowledge of actual voodoo magic or magic as of all. I'm not that cool. But so I'm not going to be purchasing this voodoo carrot because I'm obviously not the target audience for this carrot. But I don't know. I think this is ridiculous. So do I think that this carrot actually has some sort of magical properties? No, but that's to each your own. Tweet me at GSMC_weird news if you are if you know anything about this magical carrot and if you have knowledge of real voodoo magic. Like, no, like for real, on a serious note, I'm curious. Just because this is something that's so far out of something that I would even like think about looking for, and I'd see this and just be like, what? But if you've heard of this before, or you've seen anything else that's sold online that's kind of along the lines of this, let me know. Tweet me at GSMC_weird news, or you can also hit me up on the Facebook, which is GSMC Weird News. Now, let's move on to something else that is also on eBay. I saw this and was just like, huh? Okay, so this is a Nokia phone. Now, it's not just any Nokia phone. This is a Nokia phone that apparently is a world-dominating super weapon. Now, I know, this is ridiculous. The seller says that this is no joke. And they say that there's a black button on the back of it. Now, this is not good in my hands because I want to hit all the buttons. I just want to push all the buttons all the time. If I see a big button, I really just want to push the buttons. Like, for real. That's just me. My phone no longer has a home button, and I'm really sad about it because I wish it did so I could just push the button, and now there's no button. Kind of sad. Kind of sad we've moved away from the buttons on the phone thing. But anyway, so the seller says that this is no joke, and that the button on the back, they don't say what it does, but that, you know, they're claiming that this is a world-dominating super weapon. Now, I would advise anybody who is going online to buy anything, for that matter, not to buy something that says that it's a world-dominating super weapon. Especially if it's got, like, a big old button on it, because I know you're probably gonna want to push the button just like I want to push the button. But, so you can buy this on eBay, and this goes for £3,829 and 95 pence. Now, that's a lot for a Nokia phone. I mean, that's a lot for just a phone in general, let alone just an old Nokia phone that apparently, according to the internet, can always withstand the test of time and possibly like a nuclear fallout or something along those lines. But on the real though, that is a lot of money to spend on a Nokia phone that might or might not be a world-dominating super weapon. Now, if you, like I said, if you see something that says that it's some sort of world dominating this or world dominating that, the possibility of it actually being what they say it is so low and so incredibly minuscule that I would not even think about taking a chance on buying something like that. First off, that's not what you should be looking for on the internet, just saying. Don't go looking for something that's supposed to be a world dominating superpower. I mean, come on. But just don't buy stuff like that. Don't buy things. They're usually 95% scams. Like, let's change that number to like 99.9% of them are scams. Now, before I keep talking about world-dominating super weapons, let's take a quick break and we'll talk about some more weird things that you can buy on the internet.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast. Now, before the break, we were talking about weird things that you can buy on the internet. Now, we were talking about weird things you can buy on the internet, and this is still technically within the weird things you can buy realm, but these are a few weird things that I found that were actually bought on eBay on the internet. So, let's just start with somebody we've talked about on this show before, Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, we talked earlier about the fact that you can buy a specific serial killer's toenails or like fingernails, and it's gross. But this was a jacket that was apparently owned by Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, this was put up for sale or sold on May 2nd, 2016. So this wasn't that long ago. This sold for $150. Now, the seller said that they were in the same class together and they were doing this like skit play thing for their class, and this was the jacket that he wore in this comedy act. And he said that he kept it in his house for so long because he gave it to him after it was all over. And he said he's selling it because no one in his house wants it around. Now, I get that. I would not want that around either. Honestly, like, if you knew that it was in the that you had something that was from somebody who did something so terrible, like as Jeffrey Dahmer did, you would definitely want to get it out of your house. I mean, that's just bad juju all around. But whether this is factual or not, this was still something that was sold on the internet, you know, by somebody to somebody who bought it. Bleh. Anyway, let's move on to the inverted crucifix from the home of hell. Okay, so this was on October 15th, 2014, so also not that long ago. This sold for $50, and this is what the description said. This very cross, placed in the home by a servant, was found hanging against the wall, but this time in an inverted position. Horror and chill filled this home of hell. Now, does this really say that this cross was, you know, from the home of hell or whatnot, or I don't know. I just thought it was really weird. And somebody actually bought this for $50. Somebody spent $50 and was like, you know what? I'd like this crucifix from the home of hell that was apparently inverted on a wall. I don't know. That's ridiculous. But let's move on to one that's even more ridiculous. So this is a powerful totem handcrafted by a white witch. So this was October 5th, 2011, and this sold for $24.95. And the description of this, now the description of some of these are written really poorly, and so it's not me messing up my words this time, it's actually them, because these are actual, like, descriptions. So this description said, made in 1948 from a third-generational white witch, and she used it many times in rituals and seances to spellcast to help those that seem to be like an owl and can't sleep and have insomnia and up all night. It is a very delicate, cute little feller. Now, if for some reason the person who bought this is magically listening to this podcast and has used this and it helps you, let me know, because I need some serious help with my insomnia. I can't go to sleep for anything, no matter how hard I try. Oh man. Maybe this is what I need. Maybe I should have bought this powerful totem handcrafted by a third-generational white witch. This is, like I said, an actual description from this posting of this item. And you can tell it was written very, poorly, to say the least. But, so I don't know if this is real. There's nothing that can really back up the fact that this was, handcrafted by a third-generational white witch, and she used it so many times for her rituals and seances and spellcasting to help those that can't sleep or whatnot. But I found this really interesting. It is so weird. It is just so strange, the things that people are selling on the internet for this and for that. Like, where do you get this stuff? Where do you get these weird items that you can just, I don't know, freely sell on the interwebs for this and for that? But let's move on to this one. Now, this one the description for this one is just pure gold. Now, this is a haunted zippy pinhead doll. So this one actually wasn't sold, and once you listen to this description, it's probably for the better that this wasn't sold. But this was selling on, the seller posted it on October 9th, 2011. So a lot of these are in October, and maybe we need to stop selling and buying real weird things in October. I mean, I guess it is the spooky season, but come on, guys. And this was selling for $66. Now, the description says, okay, here we go. He was cursed by ones that practice the darkest of the arts, so that another soul may find him and thus reap misfortune, bad luck, illness, and all the evil of this hexed cursed doll, maybe even death, ... I would like to pass him along ASAP, and I dare not remove him from his plastic coffin, ... all capitals, will you, with like 1,000,000 question marks. Now, okay, first off, it is probably for the best that this thing did not sell with a description like this. This is ridiculous. So in this description, I tried to kind of emphasize some of the words that were capitalized, which were darkest, arts, death, and then ASAP. But, this is so ridiculous. I read this description and I was dying. This description is, first off, not something that I would like to buy and then put into my home. Second off, I would not, if for some ungodly reason I bought this, I would not take it out of its plastic coffin. I don't know. I just wouldn't buy this. So in the photo, this thing is actually just inside like a plastic bag. It kind of looks like something you would get from like a county fair or something. It looks like one of those things you'd get from a county fair. Not the best quality and in a weird plastic bag. That's what he means when he's saying, plastic coffin. He or she, I don't know. But, This whole thing is ridiculous. Once again, this was going for $66. This guy just wants to get rid of this thing. He says, I want to get rid of it ASAP, but he's selling it for $66. Why not just put it up there for free or something? Be like, hey, I'll just ship this to you, like for real, or pay for the shipping and I'll ship it to you. Like, come on. Don't sell this thing for $66 and expect somebody to buy it with this caption that you give it. I don't know. There are people out there that would do it. I am not one of those people. If you would buy something like this, like, let me know. Tweet me at GSMC_weird news. Like, for real, I want to know. This is one of the strangest, I don't know. This is really weird. Now let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some more weird stuff you can buy on the internet.
The GSMC Life and Happiness podcast takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible. Download the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast. Now, before the break, we were talking about weird things you can buy online, and specifically weird things that people had bought online right before the break is what we're talking about. Now, I found this one, and man, is it a doozy. This one has a very, very long description, and on top of that was sold for a lot of money. So let's talk about Ghost in a Jar. This was sold on June 5th, 2003 for, hold on to your seats, hold on to your hats and your seats and your pants and the whole thing. This was sold for $50,922. Yeah. What? All right. Strap yourself in. This is a long description. So, the description says, and I quote, "Back in the early 1980s, while out metal detecting, I came across an old abandoned cemetery with the foundation of a home site or church or something nearby. While searching around the foundation, my detector indicated there was something at the ground close by the southwest corner of the foundation. After digging down about 2 feet, my shovel struck a wooden box that had nearly rotted out. The metal hinges and hasp were about all that was left of it. I thought I had discovered a fortune. Boy, did that turn out to be wrong. There were 2 jars and an old journal in the box. The jars had some strange writing and symbols on them. While getting the jars out of the ground, I dropped one and it broke. A black mist or something seeped out of it. I finally talked to somebody who is versed in these things and was told that the only way to rid myself of this thing was to pass the open jar on to someone else. Therefore, I am offering to you, if you dare, the ghost in the jar. With it, I am sure you will be getting the black thing also. If you are brave enough to want this, bid to your heart's desire." Now, what? This is the most ridiculous description of anything that I've seen. I've been looking up a lot of weird things on the internet for this, and this is the strangest description of anything. So this guy basically said he was going out, doing his metal detecting, around an old abandoned cemetery, and found this box with these jars, broke one of the jars, a weird mist came out, and he took the other jar, talked to some person, and they told him that he needed to, I don't know, sell it to, or like pass it on to somebody to get rid of whatever it is. So, yeah. And somebody bought this for $50,000, almost $60,000. Almost $51,000, but still, that's a lot of money. And I can imagine the shipping was ridiculous. So, what? Ghost in the jar. That's seriously something that you're able to buy. And I really wanted to share this with you guys because the description was like too good. It was almost like he was writing a short story. The description is too good to be true. For real. Now, would I buy this ghost in a jar? Absolutely not. Now, like I said earlier, I'm on the fence when it comes to paranormal stuff. I'm kind of, I lean a little bit more to maybe, but I'm not gonna chance it and do something like this. Absolutely not. Seriously though, like, tweet me, like, what you think about this, because this is one of the weirdest things that I found. Like, hands down, probably one of the tip-top weirdest things that I found. And I want to know what you guys think about this, and then on top of that, I want to know if you guys would purchase this ghost in a jar. I definitely 100% would not. Now, this last one that I'd like to talk about, I have so many questions about this one, honestly. So this one is one that actually didn't sell. It was going for a lot of money, but it didn't sell. And this is the 18th century child's haunted coffin. Now, this was put up for sale on November 3rd, 2013 for $1,200. And so this was actually sold by the seller's friend, because the seller's friend who owned this child's coffin doesn't have the internet and doesn't really know how it works. So this is the description for this. So it says, seller's friend has sold this item 7 times. Everyone keeps bringing it back to her. So she asked me to list this, in quotations, on my computer store. And then in parentheses, it says she does not have internet. Each owner has complained of things happening that did not happen before their purchase. Things falling off the walls, shelves, the TV changing by itself, turning on and off on its own, lights flickering, and so on. Your typical poltergeist behavior. It is a child, after all. Okay, I have so many questions about this. First off, who are all these people buying this child's coffin, and why are they keeping in their home long enough, or like by their home or on their property or whatever, long enough to have all these things happen? And who was she selling it to before? Was she just like word of mouth? Hey, I've got this child's coffin. Anybody need one? Like, oh man, I am so confused about this. And her friend is so nonchalant about it. She's like, your typical poltergeist behavior. It is a child, after all. Like, what? Oh man, this thing is ridiculous. And I'm not surprised that it didn't sell. First off, coffins in general are a pricey item. They just are. That's how it goes. And this is $1,200. And I don't know. I know that people do buy them for other things other than, to bury somebody in. I've talked about this before, that I work for a haunted house in October or around the spooky season. And, they actually have a real coffin that's part of their thing, and they say that there's things that go on that they, attribute to that, and also other items that they have in the haunt, they do say are actually legitimately haunted, and some of the haunters, the people that are working in the haunted house, have said, they see stuff or hear things or whatnot. So, I can understand that people are buying things for stuff like that, but it's still, I don't know. There's something about purchasing a children's coffin that makes me uncomfortable. I just thought I'd share this with you because it's probably, like, it's just, the descriptions are so weird. Like, we did talk about things that you could just buy in the beginning. We talked about some weird things and also just, like, gag things and stuff like that. But, as we went on, I wanted to talk to you about these different ones that had been bought that had these descriptions that were just like way too interesting to not talk about. I really wanted to bring this up, and I want to thank you guys for sitting through this with me and listening to me first tell you all about the weird things you can buy on the internet, and then tell you about some weird stuff that was bought and just in general posted on the internet, and listening to their ever so strange descriptions. I want to thank you guys for listening. You guys are the best. You should contact us and follow us on all our social medias at GSMC_Weird News on Twitter and GSMC Weird News on Facebook. I'm there all the time. I'm there to talk to you guys, and that's one of the places that we actually post these things every time they're posted, like right up, and they're there, just like every other place you can listen to a podcast. And if you guys are interested in other things other than weird news, the GSMC Podcast Network definitely has something that will pique your interest. Just go check out the GSMC Podcast Network, and I promise you'll find another podcast that is probably really interesting to you other than just this weird news. I even do another podcast. I also am one of the hosts on the Beauty Tips podcast, and if you're into beauty stuff, or you just like to listen to me talk, you can go over there and listen to that too. Once again, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to the GSMC Weird News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Colleen, and I will talk to you in the next one.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.